It's the George Plaster Show. 30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. Featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Watson Brown. And it's a shame it's taken this long to get an introduction for this Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer, Kelly Holcomb, along with young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in on what is a beautiful Friday right before Christmas. Yes, bingo. And you're wondering, what in the world am I doing today? Well, my friend Nat Harden, working his final day with the Nashville Predators, and they were nice enough to invite me down to what was a really nice ceremony, kind of emotional. And Nat Harden, number one, a terrific human being. But here's what I know that a lot of people don't. When we were doing all the stuff to try to keep Nash from moving to Hamilton, Ontario, Nat Harden was a really important piece of it. And I dare say, had Nat not sort of joined the Our Team Nashville group, you'd be going through customs a lot more up in Canada. Don't want that. Anyway, to my friend Nat Harden, wonderful ride. Not many people get a retirement T-shirt out of the deal. And Nash, Merry Christmas to you and all the other Nashes out there in the world who make life brighter when people walk into an arena. Yeah, how about that? Thank you. Merry Christmas. How many people get their own T-shirt when they leave a place? Nat, really good human being. What an asset to the Predators. And I want to thank both Sean Henry and Bill Wickett for including me today, inviting me, because he's been a dear friend for close to 20 years. And I know the truth, which is they'd be in Hamilton, Ontario right now if Nat had not helped us. Let's get to our daily Titans update. That's where we start the show on this final Friday before Christmas. It's brought to us by Lori Burnett Leland. She sort of gave me the lowdown earlier this week that interest rates are coming down a little bit. And now I know that's probably true. And with that in mind, you might want to check back with her, because all of a sudden there may be options that are available to you that were not 2 or 3 months ago. Dial her up, 615-969-4350. So the big question around the Titans as we say hello to Terry McCormick, Will Levis or Ryan Tannehill? What do you think?
Well, George, it sounds like to me that it's probably going to be Ryan Tannehill. I mean, that seems to be the way things are trending. They are officially listing Will Levis as questionable after he went through stretch and all this morning. But then when we saw practice wrap up, I didn't see him out there as the players were leaving the field. Don't know if he went in early or what. But it seems to me that it makes sense to go with Tannehill if you're concerned at all about Levis being able to protect himself, especially behind this line with that ankle injury. But the thing is, they may have bigger issues on the other side of the ball, George. They've got 7 defensive players that they have ruled out for this game, and it's at all 3 levels. It is on the defensive line with Jeffrey Simmons and TK McClendon, at linebacker with Jack Gibbons and Luke Gifford. Now, Gifford's a backup and a special teamer. And then in the secondary with Amani Hooker, Sean Murphy-Bunting, and Kayvon Wallace, who got here in the middle of the season.
Yeah. That's sort of been the piece of this, I'm not going to say forgotten, but wow, 7.
7, and 6 of those are starters.
How do they win if that's the case?
Going to be difficult. Going to be difficult. I mean, I guess the only consolation is the fact that Seattle's injury list is just about as long. So, going to be a battle of attrition, George.
Terry, is your opinion there's more of this than we've ever seen before? Give me your why this is going on.
I think it goes back to the fact that they don't hit anymore in training camp. There's no more two-a-days. There's not very many live tackling practice sessions. And yes, you can run the risk of injury there and those type things, but it also kind of toughens guys up and gets them ready for the heat of the battle, so to speak.
Wow. Okay, you've delivered some news for sure. What else you got? Anything on the burner?
Well, that's just about it. We will see, George, and that was pretty much enough. But just want to say to you and Billy and Kelly and Watson and everybody on the show and Lori, who has sponsored the segment all year, very Merry Christmas to all of you.
Terry, Merry Christmas to you and your family. You have done a wonderful job in keeping us updated every day. You're exactly what we wanted out of this segment. And I can't thank you enough for it, because here's what I do know. You didn't get rich doing it.
Thanks, Terry.
Come to think of it,
guys.
none of us have gotten rich doing it.
Hey, more important things than money, especially at this time of year.
Amen.
Unless you're the Dodgers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even want to go there.
No.
I don't even want to go there.
Did you think you had him?
I thought they had a real shot at him, yeah.
I did too. This is not a good day for several teams.
No, not at all. And so they'll now go with Garrett Cole and 4 broken down bums.
And a cast of characters.
Yes.
Terry, Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, George.
Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update, brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. And as she said it earlier this week, you might want to check back in with her. With these interest rates going down a little bit, suddenly there are new options that may be available to some of you. So dial her up at 615-969-4350. Billy, what do we got?
George, we got an NFL game to talk about. We had one last night.
We did.
I didn't get a chance to watch it, but
I didn't either.
Ended up being a
Didn't
good one.
need to.
Rams beat the Saints 30-22. Stafford had a great night, 328 yards, 2 touchdowns. Big games for Kyron Williams and Puka Nacua for the Rams.
Not as close as the final score would lead you to think.
No, I checked. We're up a couple of
27-7 at one point.
Yeah, a few scores. So
yeah.
The credit Saints, they battled late in that one, but right now, George, the Rams would make the playoffs as the 6th seed.
Crazy.
Obviously, that probably won't happen because there's so much still to happen in the season. But we said yesterday this is a game to get yourself in the driver's seat, and the Rams did it last night.
Yeah.
So credit to them. We got a couple of games tomorrow. Bengals at the Steelers, big one, 3:30 on NBC. Bengals slight 3-point favorites in that one, and Buffalo at the Brandon Staley-less Chargers.
Yes, which that game is on Peacock exclusively. Yep. So let me ask a dumb question here. If you have Comcast, it's not on your basic cable, is it?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not, but I don't know that many people.
I am so damn sick and tired of the NFL.
They're streaming.
They've turned this into an obstacle course.
They have.
To try to see all their games. And you know what? What ends up happening when you keep doing that? And people suddenly who are used to watching the game say, you know what? Screw it.
Yep.
Well, they find out, you know what? Life continues. All the axes spin in their little whatevers. You want to make it hard for us to watch it? Keep doing it.
Yeah. Well, that's what they've done on Thursday nights.
Yes.
I would love to see the percentages of what households are able to watch those Thursday night games, or if they even have a ton of interest in watching them. I don't think many people will be glued to the TV. Bills-Chargers tomorrow
doing
night,
it.
though. College football last night. South Florida shuts out Syracuse 45-0
Woo!
in the Boca Raton Bowl. Unbelievable. Obviously, Syracuse is coachless, but still.
Looked like they were playerless.
Yeah. Tonight, Georgia Tech and UCF.
Go Georgia Tech. Rooting for a former broadcast partner.
West Durham.
Well,
Is that it?
Well, I mean, I did 2 years of Georgia Tech football.
Oh, I didn't know if you were referring to West. I know Wes is on the call tonight, I think. On TV,
I don't know.
I thought I saw.
I don't know. He did the
Could be wrong.
Louisville, Kentucky game last night. Did a good job with Jimmy Dykes.
And we'll get to that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Gasparilla Bowl in Tampa tonight.
Yeah.
We got 7 games tomorrow. So sit back, relax, and enjoy those.
It's funny. We have some bets on some of those.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
Funny you should ask.
Mm-hmm.
This morning, George, the Florida State Board of Trustees voted unanimously to sue the ACC to challenge the legality of the grant of rights and its $130 million withdrawal fee.
Does the article, I mean, I saw the bulletin on it.
Yeah.
Does it say, okay, the Florida State believes that XYZ is illegal, therefore, I mean, this seems like something where they're taking a dart and trying to see if it'll stick on the wall.
Yeah, it's really just that first step to leave the conference. Suing.
Sure feels that way.
That conference. It's a 38-page lawsuit.
Yeah.
And it seeks a declaratory judgment.
Yes.
All these words, these are ridiculous.
Yeah,
declaratory judgment.
Billy, if you've been sued, you understand what these mean. By the way, 38 pages isn't all that much. Hell, mine was 20. I'm half a league.
Well, you're familiar with these terms.
Yes, I am.
I am not. But basically, the chairman of the board, Peter Collins, came out and said that I believe this board has been left no choice but to challenge the legitimacy of the ACC grant of rights. None of us like being in this position. However, I believe that we have exhausted all possible remedies within the conference. We must do what we believe is best for Florida State. So,
okay.
You asked me before we got on, what does this mean?
Okie dokie.
I don't really know, to be honest.
I don't think anybody does.
Yeah.
But a far smarter man than us, Watson Brown, will join us at 2:20, and we'll get his interpretation.
Well, that'll be good.
Yeah.
College hoops back to Louisville. You mentioned Louisville suffered a 95-76 loss to Kentucky last night. They dropped to 5-7 on the season. And George, after a couple of bad losses earlier this season to DePaul and Arkansas State, similar to Vandy.
Arkansas State, by the way, Belmont just beat.
Yes. So bad
like
loss.
3 days ago.
For Louisville. There was speculation that Payne would be fired and replaced by an interim. But their athletic director, Josh Haird, came out today speaking to a local TV station up there and said Kenny Payne will remain in place as the Cardinals enter ACC play. So,
well, let me say this. If you watched the game last night, and Jimmy Dykes pointed it out, there was sure a lot of blue in that building. At some point soon, Kenny Payne better get his you-know-what together.
Mm-hmm.
Because NFL is going to stand for not for long.
Yeah, well, they bounced back and beat Pepperdine, I think.
Whoop-de-doo.
A week ago.
You think their fan base gives a damn about Pepperdine? I mean,
No.
Kentucky, in their building, at one point was up 30.
Yeah.
That is not going to sit well at the Yum Center.
No. It is incredible how far Louisville basketball has fallen.
It's shocking.
Unbelievable. What does this mean for Stackhouse this weekend, I wonder, if this is a sign?
I don't think it means anything.
Well, we had talked about it a few days ago that if Kenny Payne gets fired, might not be the best look.
I don't know. I mean, who knows? I mean, each school has its own list of priorities of whatever.
And at the end of the day, if you fire a coach right now, the product on the court is likely not going to change much. You're basically just appeasing this, loud majority of fans that want it to happen now.
Well,
but in reality,
here's what I will say about that. when you look at those kids right now at Vandy, they don't look like a very happy bunch.
No, they don't.
Body language doesn't look real good. As I've said, Tyron Lawrence has checked out, just forgot to tell anybody.
Yeah.
And that is one area where a coaching change might be of help. Here's the bottom line. Okay, you've had 3 non-conference losses that are embarrassing. Presbyterian, University of San Francisco, and now Western Carolina. And so you're supposed to believe that when you get in the SEC, they'll just snap their finger and it's all going to get better. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it's going to get worse.
Yeah, and there will probably be some games this year that continues to cause the rift from the fan base.
The noise is only going to get louder.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Lastly here, George, NHL, Preds beat the Flyers last night.
Atta baby.
4-2.
Big win.
Big win. Tomasino, a couple of goals. And they will host Dallas on Saturday.
If you look at the standings right now, they're getting close.
They are.
Getting close to the top of the division.
And another good team they beat last night.
And Dallas, right now, as of this moment, is the one on top. Big game tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go to the break. And then when we come back, Coach Watson Brown will join us. We got a lot to get into. Stick around. This is the George Plaster Show.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
I'm Watson Brown.
I'm Kelly Holcomb.
I'm Billy Derrick.
We're the George Plaster Show. We've been Nashville's best sports talk for the last 30 years. And you know what? We still are.
Catch us live weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time in Nashville on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, the podcast version is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize
your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville. Give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House for all your personalization and recognition needs.
So if you're just joining us and wondering, what is this shirt I have on? This was the shirt that the Predators gave out today to a group of us to honor one of their best employees, Nat Harden, who is spending his final day, 26 years with the Preds, and made a lot of friends, as I found out earlier today. And so I'm wearing this shirt in his honor. That's a good man. Okay, let's get to the business at hand and say hello to Coach Watson Brown, who joins us from Cookeville, Tennessee. Watson, first of all, Merry Christmas to you and your family, and thank you as always for being a great friend.
Oh, George, that's we can say that together because it goes both ways. And Merry Christmas to you, Merry Christmas to Billy. Neat time of the year, boy. They go fast, don't they?
God.
They come around, and when you get older, like we're getting, pal, they go faster. Billy doesn't know what we're talking about.
Tell me about it.
Billy does not know what we're talking about, but he will one of these days.
Oh yeah,
that's all I can say.
And when he does, we'll be gone.
Well, true. We will be an afterthought at that point, buddy.
Watson, I want you to put on your AD hat and try to interpret for me the news today out of Florida State, where the Board of Trust announces that they're suing, and it has to do with the rights and the 2036 deal. What does all this mean?
Well, right now, what it means is they can't leave till they get something settled, because it's a massive amount of money,
right?
That they would have to pay to leave. So, and they want out. I think that they're not getting anywhere close to what the Big Ten and the SEC is getting in the ACC, and it's a long-term contract, so it's not going to get a lot better. I think that's the biggie. If they could get a new contract in place in 2 years or something, they might not want to leave. But I think they're looking down the road. We're going to get this amount through 2000. I think it's 36 or something like that. It's a long time contract, and then you add to not getting in this year into the Final Four. If they were undefeated and had lost their quarterback in the SEC, they would have got in. If they were undefeated in the Big Ten and had lost their quarterback, they would have got in. I think that it shows them where the conference is right now compared to the Big Two. And you know, they looked at the Pac-12 and said there is no Pac-12 anymore. I mean, it's closing in on them in a lot of directions. And they're sitting there saying, I think, George, this thing could be a 2-conference deal before it's all said and done. And they'll set it up like the NFL. You'll have the AFC and the NFC and play across the plains. It's a little bit like what Coach Kelly said at UCLA. I'm not sure that's not where this is headed.
So, Watson, let me ask this. If Florida State somehow got instant relief out of this lawsuit and they could settle it, it feels like it's more likely they'd end up in the Big Ten, but am I rushing to something that's probably wrong?
No, I think the Florida thing is a part of that, and the Big Ten wants in the South, wants to get in Florida, from what I've been told, and so I'm not sure they're not chasing them more than the SEC. That's what I'll bet, and I think the Florida piece is what holds it up. We all know the Aggies didn't want Texas in the SEC, though. So we've already seen this play out once. I don't think Florida could stop it if the SEC wants Florida State in. I would like to bet that Miami will be tied to this too before it's all said and done. And I don't know that the SEC would take both of those two, but I think the Big Ten would.
Watson, what am I missing here? Because it seems to me, and I've always thought this, that the two schools football-wise that feel like the SEC are Florida State and Clemson. Doesn't the SEC have enough television bandwidth at this point as opposed to worrying about Miami, which is going to play in front of a half-empty stadium all the time? Isn't Florida State Clemson the better choice?
In all ways. If I'm the commissioner of the SEC, that's exactly where I head. I go for both of those. I hear North Carolina mentioned a lot, but I think it's Florida State and Clemson. They've got that SEC feel to me, George, and they've got the fan base. They've got the excitement around their stadium. They've got the stadiums full. I just think those are the two to me. And if I'm going anywhere, that's where I'm going. If I'm the SEC now, and like I say, who knows? I just got a feeling, not now, not in the next couple of years, but if the ACC hangs in there, they've got to go combine with the Big 12. That's their only chance, in my personal opinion.
By the way, I agree with you. So, speaking of all this conference crap, we have word out west that Oregon State and Washington State have settled their disputes with all of the turncoats, and now we're all going to live happily ever after. Is this simply the Mountain West is about to become the Pac-12?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. And I don't know that that'll even make the Power Five. I don't. I'm not sure they won't stay in the Group of Five, because adding those two is not going to get you bumped up, in my opinion. And it's just sad, George. What you and I have grown up with, Billy can handle all this, because the young guys, they don't. But you and I have grown up deep into these conferences.
Sure.
And man, and they were huge in our lives. And the Pac-12 always playing the Big Ten and the Rose Bowl was a big deal, man. And the SEC, those original SECs that you and I grew up with, it's still hard for me to accept the SEC the way it is now. And I know it's better and it brings in more money and all that, but I'm just an old timer. It's the way I grew up, and I don't know that I'll ever get that out of my blood.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I guess there's a part of me, and this is probably unfair because I've blamed some of this on Greg Sankey, that had he said to Texas and Oklahoma, look, we'd love to have you, we'd be stronger with you, there's no doubt, but it will cause such turmoil that in good conscience, I can't agree to this. Watson, I know it's Pollyannish, but if he had done that, how much different would this whole story be?
What the sad part, George, that I think if he had done that, the Big Ten would have leaped. They would have gone straight to the Big Ten and they would have done it. I don't know. The one thing that we've dealt with, again, in mine and your life, is to watch the Bucks grow. And everything, it wasn't that way when I was in high school, that the SEC was hunting every dollar they could get. I can remember Vanderbilt fighting for their money and Georgia fighting for their money, and it was all off of a fan base, alumni giving, all of that. And now it has nothing to do with that. That's such a small piece now to these puzzles of these teams. The TV packages run the whole deal, and I just can't see that this comes out better. How could and I'll throw it back at you because it'd be a great conversation for a week. What comes out of this, and where does it end up? Does it end up like the NFL? Do we keep bumping conferences out, and are we going to have two leagues? Are we going to have the AFC and the NFC, and then are we going to have a Group of Five league doing the exact same thing, an AFC and an NFC? They have their championship for less money, but more money they're getting now. I don't know. I don't know where this thing stops.
Well, I
And
don't
that's
know,
what bothers me. It scares me, tell you the truth.
Watson. I don't know that the power brokers know exactly, but it sure seems headed like exactly what you just put out there.
Yeah.
Two big groups, SEC, Big Ten, with about with about 30 million teams in each, divided into the American Football Conference and the National Football Conference. I mean, that's what it feels like is coming. And oh, by the way, their basketball tournament will start in late January, so it can be over in time for March Madness.
Yeah, and there's another thing I'd like to get to here, but I agree with you. And that format, George, has worked pretty dadgum good in the NFL. Look at the difference now that when they put everything together after they combined with the American Football League and the TV packages they put together with the different people with ESPN, a little bit with NBC, the two big ones, of course, with CBS and Fox. And look at the money they're bringing in. And I just can't see that it's not going to get copied. And will it get to the point where the players get a piece of the money straight out, and we don't do all this NIL stuff, and we're paying the players out of the packages as it is? I don't know. I think it would be better if they did that. I'll tell you that. This NIL money and the way they're having to go out and beg for it.
Oh, good Lord.
And it's kind of sad, man.
It is.
It really is. And I think it's fixing to head. Man, I could talk about this forever. I think it's fixing to head. Well, these guys that are giving this money, they're going to get tired of it at a point. The guy they're giving 1.5 to this dude, he don't come through. He gets benched. Then another one's playing, and he wants his money back. We talked about, I was told that there were guys at Michigan State that pulled out completely when they fired the coach, and they were paying players. Don't know if it's true, rumor, that and all of a sudden players quit getting paid. The money just stopped on the spot because the people quit giving the money. I mean, I'm telling you, if they don't get their hands on this, George, that's going to be the thing to blow it up, is the player piece of all of this. The schools get that straight cash. I can understand how that could keep going. But this up and down of this player situation now, I'm telling you, I think that's what could blow this whole thing to shreds.
Okay, I've got to believe that as somebody who was a football coach and an athletic director in the group of five world, that you've got to be absolutely sick at the way the big boys have left group of five for nothing more than roadkill.
George, I was in those when it was a BCS. I was representing UAB and Conference USA with our commissioner. And I was in those meetings for 3 days when all of this first started. And it's amazing. I could feel how we were fixing to be left out of everything in those meetings. And Lord have mercy, it has flat come true. They're not a piece of anything anymore. They're on their own. And sooner or later, they're going to have to open their eyes and say, we can't get in there. And we got to come up with a package ourselves. Now, when that happens, I don't know, because the egos, and I was one of these, the egos of those schools in that group of five think they can find a way to get in to the Power Five. That's still what's in the back of all their minds. It's not coming up what's best for the group of five. They're trying to figure out how to get the Power Five. Until all of that stops, you're not going to have a group of five get together, in my opinion.
Okay, but let me play devil's advocate, though.
Yeah.
How many schools do you think really have that dream? Because I think Memphis has given up the dream, even though they may be good enough in basketball to cause some major noise. I don't see a lot of those types dreaming that anymore.
Oh, I think they do.
Do you really?
I do. I think all these schools say we can do what that school's doing. We can get in there and get to where that school is right now. I don't think that, George.
Wow.
Lord, I started football at UAB, and I thought we could get ourselves to blah blah blah, and it was la la land at that point. I mean, but but because we were just starting. But I said, man, we can reach this. We can get there. And no, I don't think you don't say that publicly, but behind the scenes, they're always trying to figure out how can we sneak in this? How can we do it? Man, our basketball is so good. How can we pull this off? And if we get in our football, we'll go sky high. We'll pass this school. We'll pass this school. I think that's still in the back of all of those minds, George. And at some point, though, when the longer this money keeps going up and it leaves the group of five, the further they get away. And then I think they're going to say, we better take care of ourselves and come up with something here.
Watson, I've been bothered in recent years that playoff baseball doesn't feel anything like regular season baseball. And maybe some of that's some frustration about my favorite team. But I think the same thing's starting to happen in the bowls. Take your brother, for example. He's about to play in a bowl game, and it's not going to feel anything like his regular season felt because Drake May has made the decision, and I can't blame him, to forego and head off to the NFL. But doesn't something have to change there, or we're going to ruin everything but the playoff games?
George, the thing that's been ruined first, biggest ruin of all, is the bowl season now. Because half of these teams don't have near the same team they had during the season. They're gone. They're either going in NFL or they're going NIL and transfer portal. And so they're not even close to the same. It has ruined the bowl season. Two things have happened. Number one, when they started with the 14 playoff, it's like you felt like if you're one of the in the Power Fives and you don't get in that, it's not been a successful season. So all of a sudden, certain bowls that you and I grew up with that were big bowls that you couldn't wait to get to go to, all of a sudden don't mean the same. And so I watched last night, and I didn't watch a quarter, and that's not like me. But that Syracuse deal with South Florida, that was embarrassing for both of them.
That was just sad.
Syracuse had no reason to be there whatsoever. Didn't even have a quarterback, a backup tight end playing quarterback in a bowl game. And then poor South Florida, they're excited about going, and they've improved their program, and then they got to play that. It wasn't fair to either side, and they're going to have to do something to the bowls, man. What I think they got to do, and this will be something you hadn't heard out of me because I'm a major bowl guy. I think they got to drop the 6 and 6s and cut the bowls back. But then like Syracuse, they didn't want to be there, but their conference affiliate made them go.
Yep.
They just had to go. There's no money in that bowl. They didn't get money out of that bowl that mattered one piece. So what I think you got to do is let those schools that are 7 and 5 and up, if they've lost so many players, let them pull out and they don't want to go, and then pull up a 6 and 6 to take their spot. Now I think you keep some excitement in the bowls, but we got too many for what's going on right now, and I think people, devil's advocate, would say, well, ESPN's not going to go for that because they're making money. They won't keep making money if they have bowls like they had last night. And they're going to have more and more. George, they're going to have more and more of those. We'll see more this year.
Yeah.
In my opinion, we're going to see teams that we can look at it in the opening series and say, man, they don't need to be there.
Yeah, it was an inter-squad scrimmage game last night.
Oh, it was embarrassing.
All that was.
It was embarrassing for college football. That was embarrassing for college football. And somebody that you heard me say this for the last 4 years we've been together. We got to have a commissioner of this stuff, man.
Yeah.
And we got to have, I think it'd be 2 commissioners myself, but it won't happen first. There'll be a commissioner of all of football. But there needs to be a commissioner of the Power Fives, and there needs to be a commissioner of the Group of Fives.
When number 88 is your quarterback, you got a problem.
It's embarrassing. I turned it off. I never turn off games. And I flat didn't watch it last night whatsoever. It really hurt me to sit there and watch that. and to see what NC2A football has become in some ways, George.
Watson, Alabama and Michigan is going to draw a monster number week from Christmas Day, New Year's Day. Kind of take people through how you think teams prepare when they will not have played for 4 weeks. What do they do in those 4 weeks?
It's not as long a time as you think, because here's what happens. When you finish your season, you immediately go into final exams and all that. So you lose that week completely. You just let them off. They don't even lift weights probably unless they want to themselves. So they're gone that week. You come back after that week. Coaches are on the road, this recruiting and all they're doing, this all happens right about now. Well, it happened this Wednesday. And so they're gone. You come back and half of your coaches are there the second week. And some of them are on the road and they're out and in. And you put everybody on the field, but you work hard on all your young kids, your backups and all of that. And they nearly have a spring practice. That's what the coaches love right there. They're getting to work with all their young kids. They're very physical with them. Bad as I hate to say, they're not as worried about them getting hurt and all that. So you do a lot of physical work. And then, George, really, they work for 2 weeks for the big game. That's exactly what they do. Now, when they get to those 2 weeks, the game plan's already done. The coaches have been in the office working on all that. So they're done with their game plan. They get 2 weeks to prepare for who they're playing. And that's exactly how all 4 of them will do it.
Interesting.
Yep.
So are you believing Bama wins that game?
I am.
So
even
am I.
though the longer it's going, I think it'll be closer than that Michigan's been with Alabama. I'm hoping it's going to be a real good game. I just can't see Michigan beating Alabama. I can't see it. I just can't see it.
Hey, thank you for taking the time to come on here. We are living in weird times, period.
We're living in it, and I'm anxious to watch how it plays out, and I think it's going to be sooner than later that this is going to come to a head. I do. Now, I'm not talking about tomorrow, but watch it in the next 2 years. It's going to get real interesting, in my opinion.
The motto of the story is this: if 88 is your quarterback, something's totally messed up.
Something's messed up. I've never had an 88 play quarterback after last night. I never will.
Right.
Shift the calendar. I mean, you're talking about shifting the bowls, Watson. That calendar has to be fixed somehow. I don't know how they do it, but
you've got to fix. First thing you got to fix, Billy, is the high school signing date.
Yeah.
They got to go back to February with that because they're not getting to spend enough time with the high school kids. Right. They don't really know right now how many scholarships they got because of the transfer portal. So I would shift that back to February. Yeah. Get it out of there. That will help it. And if they could back up the transfer portal a little bit, it would help. But I don't think they can because these kids have got to get in the next school they're going to. So they got to decide pretty quick before they get into school. And so I'm not sure you can touch that, but get that early high school signing date out of there and put it back to February.
Crazy. Merry Christmas, Watson.
Love you too, man, and honor to be on with you and your great friends. And Merry Christmas to y'all.
Hey, Merry Christmas. Thank you.
See ya.
Watson Brown. He makes a lot of sense with what he put out there today.
Sure does.
God.
He usually does.
Now,
but
you think
he's not saying this is an easy fix, right? But he thinks there are easy solutions. You know, he's not saying you can fix it all, but you know, there are things they can do that they're not doing.
There's
right now.
Some common sense that's going to have to come through.
Yes.
Speaking of common sense, I want to throw this stat at you. The Dodgers in free agency spent over $1 billion on 2 players. The entire rest of Major League Baseball spent less than that in free agency. I'm a little bitter. The Dodgers have signed Yamamoto, and we will talk about it next.
Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work. as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Well, I never thought I would live to see the day where a team could or would outspin the Yankees. But you know what? We have found that team, and it is now the hated Dodgers. First, it was Shohei Ohtani at $700 million. Now it is this guy Yamamoto. For 12 years, I think I heard $325 million.
Yep.
So that is $1 billion.
Yep.
In the offseason on 2 players. 2.
Go
Braves.
Can they beat the Braves? That's the question. That's been the Achilles heel, at least for the Dodgers. They've been an Achilles heel to the Braves as well. But
oh, sure.
You know,
Billy, here's what's going to happen. To me, it's one of two extremes. And by the way, those pictures are incredible. If you've never been to that ballpark and you love baseball, man, that is a must go to.
Chavez Ravine.
Chavez Ravine, Dodger Stadium is the cat daddy. It is beautiful. There's a picture of Dodger Stadium when it's full. It seems to me one of two things is going to happen. Either this is going to work out exactly the way the Dodgers want it to, and they'll pile up some World Series and become the hated Dodgers, much as the Yankees over the years have been. Or there will be another side to this. Ohtani has not shown a ton of ability to pitch for a full year.
No.
He just never has. Now, when he does, he's brilliant, but he always seems to break down, and from about late July till the end of the season, it's never as good if he's even, on the active roster. So a scenario exists where Ohtani cleans up as a DH, but really is not much of a factor as a pitcher. Then there is the hope of a Braves fan that Yamamoto will not ever quite just come to the United States and kick butt.
Yeah.
And he'll be like a lot of the other pitchers, the Kenta Maedas, name whoever you want to name. And that this billion-dollar expenditure has the Dodgers 2 or 3 years down the road going, what the hell were we doing?
That's the hope. I mean, a lot of those pitchers that come over from Japan, George, will flame out too. They have like Darvish, I remember, had of course, really good year or two there. And then it's not like he's bad now, but
no, he's been the best of what has come over here.
Yeah. Maeda, you mentioned him, it's hard. I mean, it's hard to you're playing, and I think they call it the Nippon Professional Baseball League.
Yeah.
He was the Cy Young out there, this Yamamoto kid. So you produce there, you're going to get a shot in the big leagues. There's a ton of them that have come over here, but it's not easy to make that switch. And so, but I look at this and I go, okay, I was talking about this with somebody last night when I saw the news. I said, that's Ohtani's arm. That's because Ohtani's not going to pitch next year. Ohtani's going to be an offensive monster threat, right? Yet this Yamamoto is kind of substituting that. Okay, we don't have Ohtani to pitch, but we've got Yamamoto now. So you essentially now have, I don't know who's a better pitcher, Ohtani or Yamamoto. I don't know if we can really say that right now, but you've got Ohtani's arm now. Essentially, is what we had kind of said. You said, well, he's not going to be able to pitch, right, until at least a couple of years.
This sounds like I'm crying in my beer. I like the way the Braves are doing it better.
It feels like the Dodgers are desperate. No,
it does feel like they're desperate, and they have spent out the what.
How many times does this work in sports where you see a team go all in financially and it doesn't work?
I don't know. It worked early for the Yankees when they signed Reggie, and he hit the 3 homers in the 77 World Series. But, as time went on, and I think one of the reasons that Hal Steinbrenner has not followed his dad's lead is the fact that really the bang for buck wasn't there.
Right.
Now, here's what I do think could happen, what could come out of this. I think the public, especially if the Dodgers start to dominate, is going to say we got to have a salary cap. The players' union has fought that like crazy.
Yeah.
But you know what? This kind of thing that can ruin a sport.
Yeah. I think some fans have tuned out because of this. They might be really big fans of their team, but you see something like this with the Dodgers where you can defer. How much did they defer? $68 million?
Yeah, where you sit there and you go, do we have a shot?
Yeah.
Do the Kansas City Royals today really think they have a shot?
Where your
do the
season
Milwaukee
is over.
Brewers, who are really pretty darn good, do they really have a shot against this?
No.
I mean, in the National League, it feels like Philly, the Braves, the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
That feels like it's it. But I think it was a good example this year from the Diamondbacks. You can still, they built it from the ground up pretty much, and I know they didn't win it all.
Yeah, but you think they
got,
feel good about their chances next year in that division?
No, but I mean, they made a run this year, and I know, the Dodgers didn't go all in last year like they are this year. But I don't know, I think there's still examples that teams can come up and make a run, but something like this makes you go, what in the world?
This is alarming.
Yeah.
And, am I two-faced enough that if the Braves did it this way, I'd be okay with it? I'd like to think I would have concern. I know I've got concern, partly because it feels like the Dodgers could run away and hide, but they've still got pitching problems. My gut feeling is that Yamamoto will do well in the United States, but I don't think he'll be Cy Young. Of course, I probably said the same thing about some guy named Ohtani when he came over here.
He's got a fastball, runs up to 99, devastating split finger fastball as well. That has been tough on the American hitters, that splitter. We'll see. Either way, it's going to be fun.
Okay, 3 o'clock hour. First of all, we'll have our final pre-Christmas stat of the day. I got one of these this week.
This will be on you, George.
I know. And then we'll go tail of the tape of the Titans and Seattle. Terry McCormick gave us the news to start the show that as many as 7 Titans on defense will not play Sunday against Seattle. So, you tell me how they're going to win. Tail of the tape, and then plaster bets, and there's several of them for this weekend. That's coming up during the 3 o'clock hour. We thank you for being with us. Please stick around.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
All right, I'm here with my buddy Chip Ward from Lincoln Home Loans. And Chip, it's football season, and it feels like it's moving season every time of the year, especially here in Nashville. Tell us about your business, Chip, and kind of introduce people to who you are and what you do here in the Nashville area.
Well, you're exactly right, Billy. It is definitely moving season, as it is most times, especially right here after Labor Day. Kids are back in school, and people are starting to think they want to get settled in before the holidays. And so what we are doing is right now we are getting a lot of people pre-approved for home loans. Inventory has ticked up a little bit. It has been down, but it's rebounding a little bit. And right now is a good time to buy.
Chip, real quick before I let you go, tell people how they can reach you. And if someone is interested in your business, how would they reach out to you?
Well, sure. At Lincoln Home Loans, you can reach me at 615-500-7579. My URL for my application page is chipward.net, and my email address is simply chip@chipward.net. And so I'd love to hear from anybody. I can answer any questions about the whole home buying and financing process.
Top of the hour on a Friday, final Friday before Christmas. It's time for a stat of the day without Kelly, presented by John English Antique Sports and Cards out in Shelbyville. They're open during the week, Tuesday through Friday from noon to 5, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Give them a call, 931-492-4304. All right, let's see what Matthew's got cooked up for us today. The Pistons have lost 25 straight games after starting the season 2-1. Who was the last NBA team to have a losing streak of 25 games or more?
You know, I think it's the Philadelphia 76ers, although I can't swear to it. That's what I'm going to go with. I also remember in my lifetime, the Lakers had a 33-game winning streak back in the early 70s. This Pistons thing has gotten
ugly,
totally out of control, and this just doesn't work.
No. But, George, you are correct.
Yeah.
Sixers, 2015. I remember this season well, back when I used to actually watch the NBA. But, yeah, Sixers, Pistons, not the best history, at least in the last decade, although the Sixers have gotten better.
Yeah, they've gotten a lot better. It's called Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Wow. I got one right. It's about time.
That was good timing.
2 this week that I nailed. That's a big week.
Would Kelly have provided much intel there?
No. No, I was on my own on this one. We now move officially into the 3 o'clock hour, and we get to the tail of the tape of the Titans game Sunday in Nissan Stadium against Seattle. I was trying to think back. The Titans, to my memory, have had 2 Christmas night games. The first one was a 31-0 drubbing of the Dallas Cowboys that allowed the Titans to have the 1 seed. That was, let's say, 2000? Maybe 99.
I wouldn't know.
And then there was in, I want to say 2009, a Christmas night game against the San Diego Chargers. But I don't think that as the Titans, I could be wrong, I don't think they've had a Christmas Eve game.
I don't think they have either. There haven't been many overall in the NFL these last, with Christmas Eve falling on a Sunday, of course.
Yeah. So here we go. Here's the one thing I'm guaranteed to get right. The home field is the Titans, Nissan Stadium. May not feel like it Sunday. I have a feeling there'll be a few empties.
Sparse.
Running game, I would put dead even. Neither one are particularly good at it these days. The Titans, because they can't block a lick. There's nothing wrong with Derrick Henry, in my opinion. This is all about their woeful offensive line. Seattle, you saw on Monday night against Philly. It was not the running game that got them the win. It was Drew Lock to help me with the name again.
Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle definitely gets the edge in the throwing game. They've got really good receivers. Give me the name.
Are you talking Seahawks? Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Okay, but they're 2 even better.
Oh, DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf and Philip Lockett. They've got really good receivers.
I think Tyler Lockett, yeah.
Lockett.
Yeah.
Philip, Tyler, whatever. They got good receivers.
They do.
If I gave him a new name, I'm sorry. I give the slight edge defensively to the Seahawks, but let me move that check mark over. Can you move that while we're doing this?
I cannot.
I didn't think so. I would move it way over there off the news that Terry McCormick gave us earlier, which is that as many as 7 Titan defenders are not going to play. Kicking game, pretty much dead even. The young guy they've brought in to punt has done a really good job, which has led me to believe that there are probably at least 100 punters out there that if you had to throw them into an NFL game just off the street, they'd all do pretty well.
Yeah. Not the hardest position to plug and play there.
No. Now to the intangibles. Let's start with Seattle. The win Monday night against Philly kept them in the playoff hunt in the NFC.
Yep.
The Rams' victory did not help them a bit.
No.
This is a game they got to win, and they know it. Now to the Titans. I guess you could say quarterback uncertainty. Sure looks like it's going to be Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
But here to me now is the bigger issue. Take those words and put a slash by them, and then write injuries.
Whew.
That's the intangible. How much of that is going to kill them?
This could get ugly. I mean, that Titans, Vrabel never usually lets it get that ugly.
No.
But this feels like a game where the Seahawks are hungry. They need it, and they might get it.
Okay. Run through what I had as the final score. You know what? It could be worse. I guess it could be better. None of us thought they'd go to Miami and win. So
with this, I mean, you credit the Titans if that score happens.
Oh gosh,
with all those guys out on defense.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question, because I know my immediate reaction, given the fact that none of us think Ryan Tannehill will be here a year from now, is that the Titans' reluctance to start Malik Willis is a really bad sign that they don't trust him and they don't believe in him.
Yeah.
Do you see it any differently?
No, I don't. I mean, this would be a perfect opportunity if they had any faith left in Willis. They would ride with Willis right now. He had his chances last year, and I don't think he showed enough to them that proves them he's a viable option as a backup. I mean, and that's saying a lot. I mean, I don't like he would go in and everything looked totally different. And I like what Terry says. He doesn't fit what they want to do and what they're trying to do with the run game, right? Be aggressive on the ground and hit that play action vertical deep ball. With Levis, Tannehill, I think, is a good backup. Now, does he stay here? No. I just don't think Levis fits. I'm with Terry. I'm glad Terry has brought that up in the past. You need a guy, I think, similar to Levis. And Willis is total opposite. I mean, he would fit very well, I think, as a backup for Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, right? Allen, maybe, a lot of those guys. I just don't think he fits here, George.
No, I think this is one of the things that...
And a strange draft pick, honestly. I mean,
look, I had paid a lot of attention to Malik Willis at Liberty. And I'm sure they did too.
Yeah.
So I'm mystified by what did they think he was going to turn out to be? Because to me, this is all round peg, square hole.
Yeah.
And to me, they're to blame for some of this, because if you're going to use him at all, you gotta play to that kid's strengths.
Yeah, it was just a strange draft pick. And John Robinson made that draft pick, correct?
Yeah.
So
look, but here's the deal. I will always believe this. Other than A.J. Brown, who I truly do not believe Vrabel knew was being traded, based on his reaction on NFL Network that night, the rest of them, I am hard-pressed to believe Vrabel didn't know.
Yeah. But, ultimately they made the decision to get rid of Robinson. I guess they could have gotten rid of Vrabel. but you get rid of your head coach. Vrabel's the face of this franchise. I mean, you talk about the Titans. Mike Vrabel is the first name brought up. Not really Derrick Henry anymore. I think it was different. You've seen that shift with Vrabel taking control, and now I think you can. Not saying you can't blame him now, but from here on out, if the Titans aren't winning, I think it is almost solely on Vrabel because he does have so much control.
They are 5-16 in their last 21 games.
It's not great.
And
not
that's
great,
not
Bob.
No, that's not great. And to be honest, if we're being truthful, I think he has received less criticism than any coach in the NFL if the circumstances were for them what Vrabel's dealing with. I don't think he's caught a lot.
No, he hasn't. But in reality, he's the only. I think he's the only thing the Titans are hanging on to. This organization.
It does seem that way, and he's gotten, rightfully so, a lot of credit for the fact that his team plays hard for him.
Yep. And I want to ask you this, George. What do these next 3 games mean for the Titans?
Not a damn thing.
Pointless?
I don't think so. I mean, I hear all this, first of all,
now that you're eliminated.
All this blather about momentum for 2024, whatever.
This is about building momentum, George.
This is not about building momentum, okay? And the stupidity of some of the questions that came out at the end of last week's game, as I have gone on and on about, this whole, now that you've been mathematically eliminated, how are you going to get your players to play? I mean, what kind of a dope? I mean, this team was never in contention to do anything.
Yeah.
We knew at the latest, at the end of the Cleveland game, we all said, it's going nowhere. So, what really is at stake? I mean, you tell me.
So right now they are 5-9?
Yeah.
So they finished 5-12 and limp to the finish.
Mm-hmm.
Awful finish. Not a lot of hope. Levis, hurt. They kind of sit him out. You're kind of, everything's still kind of up in the air. You don't know what's going to happen to Derrick Henry. As opposed to finishing winning, I don't know, 2 out of these last 3, finishing 7-10, right?
To me, it's fool's gold.
Or winning these next 3, going 8-9.
Okay.
I mean,
let's say that scenario happened.
Winning these.
Does
next
that
3.
feel like an 8-9 football team to you?
No, it doesn't.
That's a team that's got a lot more holes. If they got to 8-9, Vrabel would have done some pretty amazing work to get it to that.
Yeah.
It's like the situation at Vandy. You think they're going 8-8 in the SEC?
Certainly not.
Okay. But if they did, you'd have to tip your hat, even though most of us want him gone, and say, man, for Stackhouse to get that bunch to 8-8 in the league, tip of the hat.
Yeah. I'll say this, George. The Titans have the largest payroll in the league right now.
Say that again.
Is that the right word? Largest. They've got the largest cap space, right?
I don't know if it's the largest. Terry has used numbers like somewhere between 91 million to 100 million for next year.
Well, they've got money to spend, is what I'm trying to say.
Right, and they
that's
had
a good
better
thing.
spend it correctly.
Yes, this offseason is the biggest offseason in Mike Vrabel's tenure.
This is basically Rand Carthon time.
It's time for Rand Carthon to cook.
This is where we're going to find out, does this young general manager have what's needed? Because to his credit, Billy, think about this. He went out and got DeAndre Hopkins.
Yep.
Now, Helen Keller could have figured out they had the worst, before Hopkins, they had the worst receiving core in the National Football League.
Yep.
And to his credit, he went out and negotiated and got Hopkins when others wanted him. Thank God they did.
Yep. He also drafted Will Levis. He drafted Tajay Spears. He brought in Azeez Al-Shire, some good players that have really helped him this year. And he's got to do it again. But That's a good sign. He could have, say they drafted some flops. Their quarterback doesn't play much that they drafted, draft a running back that doesn't work out. That was a good draft, but well, at least turned out to be.
Certainly by Titans standards, it's a miracle.
So I think
because they'd basically gone 3 years where they had really not had one impact player come to them out of the last 3 years of draft, which is embarrassing.
Yeah. So that's the hope right now, I think, with Carthon, and we'll see. Man, it's a huge offseason. So,
you think?
Yeah. It's a lot like Vandy. It's going to be probably more entertaining offseason than the season.
After the break, we'll get to plaster bets of the weekend. I've got 4 college plays, and I've got 3 pro plays. So our intention is to make you money. Hope you'll stick around.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458, or visit the website coolspringsmd.com. Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Final segment on a Friday. Merry Christmas to everybody. Had Nash stop by today. Big day for Nat Harden. And we've got a football game tonight. Troy and that is tomorrow. What am I looking at? Georgia Tech, not Troy. Georgia Tech and UCF tonight in Tampa. What else? That's pretty much it, George, on the docket.
Okay, how did we do last night?
Last night, we did not do well.
Wait a minute. Went 1-1.
That's well.
Well, it's called holding serve.
And one of them was a 45-0 loss.
Yeah, but they don't take more money away from you when you get ripped. And at the same time, if you win 45-3, they don't say, well, here's a Christmas bonus check.
The Jelly of the Month Club.
Exactly. Okay, so we're ready to roll and get ready to make some money.
Get ready.
Now, I do remember at one point in my radio life when I used to do the segment, Gifts to the People, I had a guy call in one day and he said, I really enjoy that segment. Well, thank you. He goes, yep. He goes, when you give your gifts to the people, I write them down. I go the other way and I call my bookie. Well, thank you. Okay. So let's start with a battle of former SEC quarterbacks. At Georgia Tech, it's been Haynes King, who had been at Texas A&M, and under my friend Buster Faulkner, he is cooked at Georgia Tech.
Yep.
John Rice Plumlee, it's been a little dicier, but nonetheless a good 2-year run for him at UCF. Now, everything on paper kind of points to UCF, but I'm here to tell you, Georgia Tech scores points. They don't play a ton of defense. By the way, a very enthusiastic team, which has taken that lead from its head coach. I'm going Georgia Tech tonight.
I like it. It's in Florida, so it would be interesting to see if UCF brings many people. I kind of doubt it, but yeah, Tech. I feel like they're better than 6-6 this year. And
I know
looked
that
really good against Georgia.
I was really impressed with their performance against the Dogs.
Yep.
Buster Faulkner, I thought, did a really good job mixing up his play selection. He likely will do the same tonight. It just seems like whatever he's running fits this kid, Haynes King, really well.
Perfectly, and Tech's lucky to have him.
Okay, game 2 is a snoozer tomorrow. Arkansas State, Northern Illinois. There are likely sections available.
In the Crampton Bowl.
Oh, God.
Down there in Montgomery.
I'm going Arkansas State. They're a little more explosive than NIU. Now, if I've got my choice to watch that or go to the Preds game tomorrow against Dallas at 1 o'clock, I'll be at the Preds game.
Good on you. Good choice.
Let's keep going. James Madison.
JMU.
Pretty darn good football team.
Sure.
The problem when you get down to the service academies is this. You only see that offense once a year. How quickly do you figure it out? How well have you been able to simulate what an Air Force has done in practice? If JMU's done a good job, they will cover and they will win outright.
This is a good matchup, probably the best matchup of the day, I think. I know you got Utah Northwestern, but with all these opt-outs, these are two really good teams, James Madison and Air Force. McLeod, James Madison's a heck of a quarterback. I'm looking for this one.
I'm taking Utah in the night game. That's the Vegas Bowl. If I was going to roll the dice, I'm rolling it with Utah because I think they can physically line up and punish Northwestern. Northwestern has got to keep this score down. They're a very methodical, slow, 10 yards at a time, kind of Big Ten offense. Utah will be a real trouble. They're going to have a hard time with Utah.
Yeah. Northwestern, good year, but this might be ugly tomorrow.
So Georgia Tech plus the points, Arkansas State -3, James Madison -2.5, Utah -6.
All right.
Now let's go to the pros. I'll give you a Saturday special here. I just have a hunch that Pittsburgh is going to play well tomorrow. I don't know if it's Mason Rudolph. I don't know if it's the criticism that Mike Tomlin has been getting, but I just have this funny feeling that Pittsburgh is going to play one of their better games in a while. They still have what I would consider kind of faint playoff hopes. And even though you're probably sitting there going, where's he coming from? I'm taking Pittsburgh.
Mason Rudolph.
Maybe. Denver, simply better than New England. New England struggles to score. Denver has playoff aspirations. This is a game they've got to win at home on Christmas Eve night. They will do it, and they'll do it by more than a touchdown.
Bingo.
Now let's get to the big one. That thing on the bottom may well be a Super Bowl preview.
Whew.
In San Fran. How in the world? First of all, who carries this game?
Monday night, ESPN, I want to say.
Is it really?
Let me double check, though, because it might be a situation where they flex it over.
Who did they suck up to?
Okay, yeah, ABC.
ABC. Yeah. Okay.
God, by the way, this is ridiculous. I mean, we had a game last night. We've got 2 tomorrow.
Yep.
We've got a bunch Sunday, and we've got 3 on Monday.
3 on Monday. Spread out.
Good gosh.
The way the NFL wants it. Baltimore has become scary good because Lamar Jackson has taken his game to an even higher level since the holdout. If you watched him last week, Jacksonville could not corral him.
No.
And if the same thing happens Monday night in San Francisco, if he's allowed to wiggle around and have 8-9 seconds to throw, you know what? Every zone defense in pro football will crumble under that. I'm not saying Baltimore will win, but I do think they will cover at +5.
Big one for Purdy. If they win Monday night, you can give him the MVP. He's done enough, at least I think.
You might be right.
There's an argument against it, but he's got great numbers this year, and what he's done, I mean, he's got more yards than Hurts. Like, he's the guy, so that's a big game for Purdy, too.
Well, here's the other thing. Philly has imploded a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's taken Jalen Hurts kind of out of it.
Yeah.
Who would you put number 2? I know he said McCaffrey. I would assume Dak Prescott would be number 2.
I'd probably go Prescott. I mean, there aren't a ton of candidates this year, to be honest. But yeah, I would probably go Prescott with the way he's played. Who knows, though? That's a big one for Purdy.
That's a huge one. Anyway, we're done.
We're done.
Our final broadcast before Christmas. Billy, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Let me say that the two of us are going to take a well-deserved Christmas break.
Yes.
We will not be back with you until next Thursday. We will put notices up, hopefully on this screen, to tell you, look, we're going to take a few days off, but we will be back stronger than ever come next Thursday, and who knows, we may have a surprise or two for you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to all of you. Remember the reason for this season, and wherever you're going, drive safely. Do not drink and drive. See you next week.